Welcome to Dental Success Beyond Chairside, the podcast that's dedicated to revolutionising the way dental professionals succeed beyond the dental chair. Join us for a unique blend of insightful interviews with industry experts to help you thrive in your dental specialist practice. In each 20-minute episode, we'll delve into a variety of subjects, including HR, marketing, innovative techniques and systems, and AI to help transform your practice and unlock its full potential. Whether you're a dentist or specialist looking to enhance your practice, this podcast is your go-to resource for professional, personal, and profitable success. Welcome to today's episode of Dental Success Beyond Chairside. Have you got a mission and value statement from years ago? Nobody knows where it is? Has the landscape of your dental team changed since COVID? Today, I'm joined by Dr Debora Harris, specialist orthodontist and owner of Harris Orthodontics. She has the prestige of being the recipient of the Thomas Graeber Award and the Elson Story Research Award. Dr Harris, can you share your story with us? How resharing your vision, redefining your mission and values with your team has changed your practice dynamics?
Hi, Michelle. Absolutely. Thank you for having me today. For me, mission and values have always been the foundation of my business. They always served as a compass guiding every decision I ever made, from how we treated our patients to how we interact with our team. Early on in my career, I made sure to clearly define the mission statements and the values of our practice. These principles were always integral to everything that I did. Commitment to excellence in patient care, continuous learning, fostering a supporting environment, and especially integrity. That was always something that was very important to me, like the integrity on how we deal with our patients. However, as time went on, something interesting happened. We didn't forget those principles or stop acting on them. In fact, we were always in autopilot, following them automatically, but we became busy. That's where the challenge arose, because it became routine, almost like mechanical. And the passion and energy behind those principles started to fade, even though we were still following the guidelines that we believe in. The values were still there, guiding our actions, but they didn't permeate our interactions with some vibrancy. It was as if we were doing the right things, but without the joy and intention behind them.
So what happened? What did you actually do?
I started to see a change in the team in terms of team dynamics, all the things that we believe in, and because we weren't really living those values and reinforcing them or having that passion about what they meant to us, we start to see the interaction with the team be a bit flat. I realized that while we were adhering to our values, we weren't taking the time to truly engage with them. We started to make a conscious effort to reunite that connections. Late last year, we actually engaged with you by bringing you into as a consultant. It was one of the clues and that prompted us to actually get the team involved in rewriting and get their input in rewriting those values and see what those things meant to them. And we wanted something that the values were not just something that we followed, but they become something that we truly lived and celebrated together. We knew by heart what they were, and we really knew a sense of ownership and enthusiasm.
With redefining those with the team, what's happened with the team now from where it was last year to where you are now? How can you describe how you feel being a practice owner and a practitioner?
I think the culture in the last few years post-COVID has changed in terms of the team had to work really hard with the changes that were imposed in that time. I think most members of my team will say that last year we were a little bit flat, especially in the things in the sense of cohesiveness. Today, like 12 months in, after we've been asking the team to know those values by heart, to have accountability for those values, we have a great team dynamic back on. And I feel everybody feels responsible for the culture that we actually deliver to our patients. Everyone seems to have their role to play and they own that.
They understand it, I think, because maybe the vision got a bit lost as well by readdressing that with everybody. And everybody took part in those brainstorming of those values. Everybody was working and the expectations from patients that were coming as well. That was all brainstormed together, which was really nice. So it was group ownership in recreating those values.
Absolutely. Those values came from Yeah, those values came from them. They have complete ownership of what we believe in, what is our motto, how we deliver care, my expectations in relation to integrity, not only on the services provided, but what we say to people. What we say is what we do. They just bought into it and helped me design those values, but they have an active input in how they felt. And the interesting thing is the people that did not align with those values are no longer there. That's what tends to happen, because when you start to really focus on getting the team to live those on a daily basis, and they have to say it, they have to believe it in their interactions, they actually know it by heart, they had to memorize it. People that are really doing it for the sake of doing it, they don't last. I believe that the team we have now are really the team that it's the right team for this moment, and they do find a very cohesive way to act upon those mission statements and values.
So if you've got new team members coming on now, you feel that with having those values, they're going to align with that same culture. If they don't, it's just like, well, you can't be part of the Harris Orthodontics team.
Yes, I think hiring for personality, values and character is much more important than skills, in the sense that obviously people have to have the right qualifications, but we can always upskill someone, but we can't change who they are. I feel that it's part of our onboarding process that these values are really an integral part of how we start people in the practice. The first hurdle that this team member has, they will see the team actually reinforcing the values and knowing it and being excited by acting upon those. Yeah.
I think that's, for a new team member, it's really important. As you said, you are living those values. Sometimes if someone's coming on, they might have left somewhere and they might have been there for a very long time, but they want to change, they want to excel. You're a very technologically rich, forward-thinking, really high-end orthodontic practice. It's like, yes, I really want to go and work there. They'll go and have a look on your website, and then they'll have a look at your socials. So they want to see if they can get that connection. Coming in and seeing that and understanding that you're living it, they know they've made the right decision, and it's just a great place to be. To be perfectly honest, you are an amazing leader. I think as a person, you want to get back to what you love doing, which is obviously practicing orthodontics, getting amazing clinical outcomes. But as a leader, you've embraced them and you've empowered the team to be part of it. I think that's really important as well.
I think one thing that we are very poorly trained at is letting go, because our profession in itself is very controlling. We strive for excellence in our orthodontic skills, and we feel that in order to strive to achieve excellence in all other areas of our practice, we have to be doing it ourselves. It's not the truth at all. In fact, with most of the things outside of clinical work, we might not even be good at doing anyway. I feel that over the years, I had to learn to train well and delegate well in order for me to concentrate at my orthodontics. There were times that it was easier to do that, and there were times that were a bit harder. I feel that I do tend to want my team members to take ownership for the part that is theirs and be accountable for it. Once they have the correct training, it's up to them to deliver. I don't need to be looking over people's shoulders. I find that works really well, because once people take ownership, they belong. Then they feel that they are part of the team, because that is their contribution.
And that's what it's all about. It's about that teamwork. It's about that cohesion. It's about clinical excellence. As you said, it's the right training, and you invest a lot into your team to get that training as well. That's what I admire about you. And just seeing your practice, the change that I've just seen now from afar has just been absolutely amazing. Just the happiness and that evoking of happiness, it comes across with the patients as well. And the patients love it, and the patient experience, and you're attracting those patients that you want. They're referring the patients you want, because they're like-minded people, just like you, the values of your practice, which is just extraordinary, and I just love it.
Thank you. As I said, you're very kind with your observations. There has been a lot of work invested in the practice since over the 20 years that I've been practicing. I think in the last few years, especially post-COVID, we have had sort of to read that, because as the team changes, as you have staff come and go, you always have to just start that process again and make sure that people understand what it is that I want as the end product for that patient. Unless they're completely behind that vision, unless they come with me in that journey, I'm not able to achieve that on my own. The team needs to be behind me and understanding what it is that I need from them.
Having that onboarding documentation with everything in the employee handbook, having the structure, having what your values, your mission and everything you do, and then obviously living that every day through your huddles, through meetings, through communication, it reinforces that. As you said, you can teach people other skills. Obviously, hygienist needs to be qualified or a therapist. There are things that you do need the qualifications, but getting the right fit and that culture. I feel many practices Australia-wide are struggling with staff and not being able to get them. If you can get an unqualified person and train them up with your training methods for what you want there, if you get them with that right set, that set of what you're looking for in your practice, create a beautiful dynamic. I was speaking to a dentist this morning and she just said she's had these trainees come in and she can't believe like they've just elevated to the next level. The culture has just been amazing with everything and it makes it nice for everybody because then everybody's in a positive place and then you're going to retain those staff because they're actually in a really happy environment and it makes a big difference. Have you got anything to say about that, Deb?
I think there is a saying that says that success comes from much less of a percentage of skill and much more on how you can handle people. I think it is true that we are required to have absolutely state-of-the-art clinical skills, but I think we do need to have the ability to handle people, not only our patients, but also our staff members. The ability to have that interaction and create a cohesive team is challenging and somewhat of an art. Not taught. It comes easier for certain types of personality than others, but it is definitely a skill that needs to be acquired if you don't have. I have a large team and I feel that part of why things have been going well is that I don't mind those close interactions. I don't mind taking the time to get to know my people. Hopefully we're coming out at the end of that and staff acquisition and retention will be a bit easier in the years to come.
I think that's absolutely great. That's why this whole HR series is talking, we've got, I think, 15 episodes, something like that. We're looking at different areas because with the dental industry, your personnel are your biggest cost.
Absolutely.
They're your biggest investment, they're your biggest asset. They're also could be your biggest pain as well. Understanding that the cost of actually getting a team member is an extraordinary expense. A lot of the heartache that happens is because of your personnel as well. So that's why we're putting this together and trying to share with the industry what you can do. And I love that, you revisited everything and the change has been quite extraordinary in that time as well.
It's being transformational.
That's great. Is there anything else that you'd like to add, Deb?
In terms of HR, just I would quickly touch the dynamics of, being female and interacting with female staff and keeping those boundaries really clear over the years. For me, like if I were to leave a message to my female colleagues, especially, and it's not exclusive of females, of course not, but I think we tend to allow the lines to be blurred more than my male colleagues because they tend to nurture those interactions and it's often different from how men approach them. Women may prioritize building trust and personal connection as a way to foster a positive and collaborative work environment more than men. And this is particularly evident in settings like dental practices, which is very female-driven workforce. I think it's more like creating very clear boundaries on where the relationship ends personally and the relationship starts professionally. For me, over the years, the biggest lesson, I think, it's been renewing those boundaries daily. Because things happen inch by inch, not meters by meters. By the time you wake up, things are in a state where you think, oh, now I have to push it back. It's quite hard to do that when you have close relationships in the practice and staff that's been there for too long. I think it's more renewing those boundaries where it's equal for everybody and putting timelines on concessions as well. When you give in something to say, well, that's for 6 months and then we'll review it. And making sure that every day the boundaries of staff and interactions are quite clear in subtle ways, like conveying that message very clear. I think it's one of the lessons that I've learned over the years that's really important in terms of hate.
That's actually very interesting because I learned a long time ago that being a manager, you can't be friends with your staff. Like you obviously are friendly, but you can't have those personal friendships where you're going out because that can create a little bit of a barrier between other staff and then perceptions of special treatment. As an owner, I mean, we were obviously a dental practice owner as well, and we always invited them to our big birthdays, but they weren't sort of our friends that we go, oh, hey, come over for a drink on Friday night. That's actually a really important thing that you've shared that I never actually thought about. That's really great. Anything else?
I think, well, not really.
As I said, I think you're an amazing leader. What you've done with your practice, how hard you work, the effort you put in, and just seeing what's happening now with the team, with the happiness, with the patient satisfaction. You're just going absolutely amazing. I just love it. I feel that these foundations are so important. That's why I wanted to share with the dental industry all together about what you've done and how it has changed so they can actually see a real life example. So thank you so much, Dr. Harris, for joining us on the podcast today. I've appreciated your time. It's just been so fantastic because HR is the biggest pain point for so many people. I just love that you have shared your stories. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Michelle. And I want to thank you for the contribution that you have given to my practice. Like, engaging you was one of the best decisions I have made.
That is so nice.
The recent few years, I mean it. It's great to have someone else to do your hard work.
Well, yes, I'm an objective person that hasn't got any emotional ties. It makes it a lot easier for me.
That's great. Just having a different perspective, into different eyes, looking into what you're doing and being open to receive feedback and act upon them. It's being a very positive experience.
That's why you're a great leader as well, because you're like that. So that's wonderful. For more information about Dr. Harris and her work, including links to her website and social media profiles, please check out the episode description. Thank you so much, Deb. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast or YouTube channel. Your feedback helps us bring you more valuable content and inspiring stories from leaders in the dental industry. In our next episode of Dental Success Beyond Chairside, we'll be joined by Belinda McLean, HR expert and owner of Human Resource Focus. Belinda is passionate about the importance of properly inducting and orienting staff, highlighting that getting this critical step wrong can cost businesses thousands. If you want to avoid costly mistakes in your hiring process, this is an episode you won't want to miss. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.